back. Let's get some reaction then to those Arsenal fan protests outside the Emirates last night, and we can cross live to Arsenal Fan TV's Robbie Lyle. Robbie, thanks so much for joining us at the end of a tumultuous week for football in this country. Were you at the protests last night, first of all?
Yes, I was at the protests, and it was unbelievable. An amazing turnout by the fans. I'm so glad that it was peaceful, but we let our voices be heard. And the clear message, very clear, last night is that we want a change of ownership.
And you must be thinking, if you're Stan Kroenke looking at those pictures, how did we manage to misjudge things so badly? I know you've been vocal in wanting the Kroenkes out of the club, and your criticism of their ownership, in fact, goes a lot further, doesn't it, than this week's events, Robbie?
Yeah, what I'd say with the Kroenkes is that they already had, under their own admission, what they said at the Arsenal Fans Forum this week, they already knew that they had a bad relationship with the fans and that they didn't communicate with us. And so it came really as no surprise that they were involved in this as well. And, I don't even know if they're looking on it because, in the past, the Kroenkes have just ignored everything that the fans have said. But I think with this one, they've gone too far, as the other clubs have got as well. And as I said, it was loud and clear yesterday. The fans want them out. They want them to go. And we'd like to see new ownership.
Well, talking of that, Robbie, look, some owners we know use football clubs to further their own interests. It's a term known as soft power. But how much difference do you think it would make having an owner who's a genuine lifelong fan? And I'm talking about the tweet last night we had from Spotify founder Daniel Ek. Perhaps someone like him who said he's been an Arsenal fan all his life. If KSE would like to sell Arsenal, I'd be happy to throw my hat in the ring. Is that what now needs to happen? Owners who really have the club's interests first and foremost and the fans' interests at heart beyond financial interests?
Oh, 100%. When you've got an owner that loves the club, he cares for the club. He would never have done what we saw the other day. I think an example of great owners is Leicester. Their owners love the club and they treat the fans with respect. And look how well Leicester are doing. But what I'd like to see, I'd go a bit further than having just an owner that loves the club. I'd like to see the fans have ownership of the club as well. I'd love to see the German model come in here at the UK. I've been to Germany many a times to watch Arsenal play. And I've always been a bit envious of the setup over there. I've been to Dortmund, I've been to Bayern, Eintracht Frankfurt, and you see the fans, they're very close to the club. You see at the end of games, their players always come over and the coaching staff to the fans, they thank them. And I just think it's such a great model what they've got over there in Germany. The stadiums are all packed. The atmosphere is brilliant. I think it was no surprise that when this whole Super League thing kicked off, there were no German clubs involved, right? Because they know that there's no way those owners could get away with that. So I'd love to see that model. And let's be real as well, Bayern Munich, they won the Champions League last year by doing it the right way. So why can't we have a model like that where fans have 51% of the ownership, and then we wouldn't have situations like what we had at the start of this week?
Robbie, it's a really significant point that you're making there. I guess some people would think fans have so many different ideas about the best way to do things. And perhaps the reservation behind fan ownership would be, well, how do you reach a consensus? You've seen the German model that seems to work very well. How would you overcome then those differing views about the way to run a club if indeed we're going towards more fan involvement when it comes to leadership?
Well, I think, as I said, if you look at those German clubs, they run very well. Another club, Union Berlin, I look at that club and how it's run and how the fans feel part of it. And they make good decisions on behalf of the club, and it's all made for the right reasons. And I'm not against, different formats, and I'm not against changes to competitions, etc., because we do have to move with the times. We do have to innovate sometimes. But let's do it in the right and proper way. Let's do it in a respectful way to the people that have built these clubs, which are the fans. And right now, we saw this week that you've got owners that go away and do things in secret and then just try and impose that on fans. And that is not the right way of doing things. So I feel that that is the right model. The right model, what we see over there in Germany, I think that would work brilliantly over here. I want the fans of all these various clubs to keep the pressure on, not just at Arsenal, but the other clubs as well. That so hopefully the government, we know they're doing a review at the moment of football and these sort of situations, and they maybe can make these type of changes, because there's a lot of owners around at the moment we just can't trust. We've seen 6 of them, 6 of them this week literally sell out their fans, their players, and even their managers. The managers didn't even know. That's not acceptable. Who's to know what they're going to do again in the future? I don't think this is completely dead, this Super League thing, right? But will they consult us in the right and proper way in the future? I've got no confidence that they will.
No, and I think you're not on your own there, Robin. I guess the danger is that the owners go away because a lot of them are relatively invisible and they think, look, we'll just wait for this to die down. There's a lot of noise. Let's wait for it to die down and let's resurrect this in a more palatable, subtle way in the future. How do you make sure then that Gary Neville, we had just before you came on, we had Gary saying that this has to be a watershed moment and it's time for reform. How do you make sure that it is that and it doesn't just as the weeks and the season comes to an end and there's obviously that little gap with club football, that it just doesn't get missed again?
Yeah, I think we've got to keep the pressure on as fans and hopefully get the government involved in it, and they can help to make some of these changes. And I think Gary Neville has done some great work highlighting a lot of this. And he's right. We've got to keep the pressure on. We know what might happen. The summer might come, somebody at Arsenal says, oh, let's try and get a few big signings. And then everybody starts to feel like, OK, well, maybe they'll change it. No, it's not about signings for me. I don't care if Arsenal sign Haaland and Mbappe in the summer. For me, it's about meaningful change where the fans have involvement in this football club, not things being done in secret all the time. And the fans who, for me, they are the lifeblood of every single football club. I'm here right now watching my son play in a grassroots game, right? What those owners did the other day wasn't just an affront to all the fans of their own club, but to kids playing grassroots football who have aspirations of one day being the next superstar, or playing for a Premier League team or playing for a Championship team. And basically what they did was stick 2 fingers up to them and say, well, you know what, you guys don't matter. It's all about money. And once we start going down that route, and I'm not saying they shouldn't make money, but once we start going down that route, the game is dead. So I hope the government, along with the fans, and the players and that, we can all have a consultation on this and plot the best way forward. But it can't just be left in the hands of rich billionaires who basically what they're looking for is more money.
OK, well, Robbie, one more question from me. You're talking about meaningful change. Does meaningful change have to be backed up by meaningful punishment? I've spoken to some fans of the big 6 clubs this week and they say just punish the club. Punish our club if it means that reform is forthcoming. How do you feel?
The thing is about it is that I don't know what sort of punishment. I mean, they've all pulled out. I don't know what sort of punishment you could put down on the clubs at the moment. And ultimately, the people that will be punished are the fans, right? I mean, at Arsenal, we've been having a poor season, lost again last night. The only thing we can hold on to is possibly winning the Europa League and getting into the Champions League in the right way, by the way. If we were, say, thrown out of that, the people who are really going to be punished are the long-suffering fans who've had to suffer a really bad season. And we're hopeful that we can get into that, and then we're the ones that are punished. I'm not sure if that would affect Stan Kroenke whilst he sat on his ranch over there in Denver. But for me, that would hurt really, really badly. So I don't know what the punishments should be. It's really hard for me to say. Maybe we should be punished in a way, but I think the punishment should hit the people who did this. And it wasn't the fans. The fans didn't do this. Remember, we had nothing to do with it. The players shouldn't be punished. They had nothing to do with it. Nor did the manager. It was the owners. So if the punishment is directly on them, fair enough. But if it's going to punish us as fans, I think, listen, we've already been punished all season as Arsenal fans.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Robbie, we appreciate that. Listen, good luck with the rest of the season, though. That said, all right, and you're a good example of what a fan involved in a fan-led review should bring and contribute. So, thank you for joining us on Sky Sports News today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good luck to your boy as well.